About 2 years ago, we said goodbye to our old dog, Max. He was our mate. He had his hang-ups, but we loved him. And instead of picking another dog up from a foster home like we did with Max, we decided that we'd try something different. One thing that pets give, aside from a lot of love, is a sense of groundedness. It kind of forces you to stay put. The answer that we saw was house sitting. So in this video, I wanted to discuss the benefits of house sitting, who it's for, and how to do it. Also some unexpected things that we learnt along the way. It's not for everyone, but for those that can find a way to work and be anywhere, then maybe it's a way to escape the cold, like what we did. The way to house sit is to have the ability to be able to be anywhere, and it's really hard. So it means that you need to take your work everywhere, you're socializing everywhere, and just make sure you got enough of your own belongings to get through the time that you're away. Working from anywhere is huge. If you can do that, you can house sit, but you can be anywhere in the world, and why wouldn't you? Not that long ago, I was bound to a place and what that place provided in terms of clients and ability to sell direct to customers and logistics and operations around that particular city. So it's been difficult to find an alternative to that gives me the freedom to adventure wherever I choose to go. There is a nice balance between looking after pets and fitting in a good solid amount of work through the day and just having chill time in the evening, and knowing that all you really need to do is be there and be kind and be helpful and make sure the animals are fed and have enough to drink. While you focus on yourself being fed and have enough to drink as well. It's a load off your brain. You don't need to use as many cycles to figure out the things that you need to do on your social calendar for the weekend or anything through the week that you need to get to after work hours. When we first started, we jumped on a platform. There's a bunch out there. We jumped on one that seemed like a good fit for us. And ever since then, we've been collecting good reviews along the way. The reason why we jumped on board to house sit was to travel north during winter. That was the main reason. It kind of got pretty uncomfortable being in an off-grid property that was starting to lose its battery limit levels over the winter sunshine, where the sun just kind of went behind the hills. So we decided that we wanted to head up north, get some wag time with some other dogs and experience what that would be like out of the cold depths of winter. So we thought that house sitting would be difficult to get into. We didn't have any reviews and no one could kind of vouch for the responsibility that we had keeping a home. But it only really took one sit, the trust that you embody in that sit and how you leave a place. You just got to do right by one house sit, and then it is pretty smooth sailing from there. When you first start house sitting, you're really not sure what to expect. So you show up with all your bits and pieces and hope you haven't forgotten anything at home that's really important and matters, and away you go. Because we didn't have any expectations in the get-go, we didn't think we had a choice on where we could go first to house sit and what our options were. But we learnt pretty quickly that we prefer to set up a criteria of what we enjoy to do when we're house sitting or what we prefer to look after. So our criteria is, there's really three big things for us. We prefer an acreage, somewhere that has space that's not in the suburbs and you have privacy, that you can open a window and you don't see the neighbours next door, or the noise pollution from anything out in the street passing by isn't going to hit us. And we don't want to sacrifice that one main thing of privacy and the space around us. Also means that you get a garden or something green to look around and enjoy or take care of as well, not just the animals. Number 2, we prefer big dogs. Big dogs, big cuddles. So they are more fun to walk, they're better company in the mornings, and they're just more robust, I guess. Preferably 1 to 2 animals. Pets are a funny thing. Any more pets than 2 and it's a little bit much when you've got other things that you're wanting to achieve when you're house sitting, as well as just looking after animals and being where you are. So the third criteria for us is that we'd prefer longer stays. We'd like to be places that are a little bit longer than a few days, unless they're tying in with dates that we've already booked and you need to sort of bookend them with other experiences on either side. So house sitting gives you a good blended lifestyle of working from home, but not your home. So therefore the maintenance of the place around you or any structures or things that are falling apart that needs a little bit more attention, that isn't on your brain, which is really nice. It means you're free to do what your focus work in front of you is. And you do have the lovely company of dogs in the morning and dogs in the evening and dogs on walk and dogs all over the place. So house sitting should be about win-win. It's a win for the homeowners that need to go away but they're not wanting to have the expense of kenneling dogs or animals or having to ask for endless amount of favours from friends or family or neighbours or anyone that can stop by and look after their life while they go. And on the other hand, for a house sitter, it gives people a place to go to that is away from their own existence as well. There was a part for us that it's actually kind of really sad looking after an old dog and seeing the end of a life because they just don't live long enough. Our dog was 14 years old and for the last 2 he was probably uncomfortable more than we would like to have seen. But when you house sit, you're seeing a moment in time of a place and of a season of an animal, and it's kind of nice to be there. For example, this place, we are on a macadamia farm. I didn't know where macadamias came from. And walking the fields out there and picking up macadamias to understand where they come from and when they become edible has been quite the interesting journey. One good thing about house sitting is it gives you inspiration. There's different ways that people live their lives in their homes and how they incorporate each space. This just gives food for thought for our own off-grid property when we return home and the projects that we're wanting to get into. People do things a little differently in life and it's kind of nice to see that input and understand what a life can be like. Especially, for example, being here, we're on 100 acres of a farmland and it's large. There's a lot of animals to feed and there's a lot going on in the farm. It's a little bit like the more you have to be responsible for, the more it feels like work and it feels like a job to do, and you can exchange a dollar value for that, though most people take it in as goodwill, which is fine. You not only need to be flexible, but you need to be adaptable. We're coming into someone else's life as a traveller to it, so it's nice to respect the place that you go to, leave it as though you weren't there. So where we might take this in the future is seeing if there's some sits overseas. Sometimes it'll be smaller dogs in units, so we'll see if that's on the cards for us in the future. Anyway, thank you for watching and I'll see you another time.